In 2017 and 18, seekers from all over the globe gathered at Kana Shantivanam, the world's largest Heartfullness center near Hyderabad in India. They came together to intensify their practice of meditation and also deepen their understanding of 10 guidelines for daily living that form an integral part of the Heartfullness movement. These 10 maxims were written in the 1940s by the great spiritual scientist Ramchandra of Shahjahanpur, affectionately referred to as Babuji. They were the result of Babuji's lifelong spiritual practice, observation of the vibratory patterns of nature, and direct experience under the tutelage of his guide, Lalaji Maharaj. Babuji offered a simple method called Sahaj Marg, or the natural path, as a means for spiritual evolution. A heart-based meditation practice assisted by yogic transmission. The sessions at Kana Shantivanam were conducted by Kamlesh T. Patel, or Daji, global guide of the Heartfullness movement. Rise before dawn and offer your prayer and meditation at a fixed hour, preferably completing them before sunrise. Have a separate place and seat for meditation. As far as possible, develop the habit of sitting in one and the same pose. Give special attention to purity of body and mind. Although we exist at a certain period in time, a great body of knowledge has come down to us through the ages. The ancients discovered that certain times of day are more conducive to meditation than others. These times have been called sandhyas or conjunctions because they are the times when one part of the day meets the other. Dawn, dusk and noon are all sandhyas. During the day, most of us are engaged in some sort of activity, mental or physical. The sun heats up the atmosphere, and this heat is only slowly dissipated at night. Before dawn, the atmosphere is at its coolest. Our body and mind have been rested and are rejuvenated and refreshed. Our daily activity has not yet commenced, so our mind is not drawn towards the coming day. The time before sunrise is therefore especially well suited for meditation. Daji offered a practical exercise to perceive the influence of the time of day on the human body. He asked the people present to observe the flow of energy within them for 24 hours and to note whether the energy flows outward or inward. He also asked them to observe their breathing pattern and note which of the nostrils is dominant. At different times, a different nostril dominates the breath. When they reconvened the next day, most reported that they felt energy flowing outward in the daytime and flowing in at night. Also, in the day the right nostril was dominant, whereas at night it was the left nostril.
So does this say something to us? That during daytime, energy is flowing out. Nighttime, you're absorbing. The cycle continues. There is a deep science behind all these things. Science today recognizes this as circadian rhythm. They measure various neurotransmitters, hormones, and various other parameters from morning and measure the whole entire 24 hours and see what happens. Cortisol level in the morning versus cortisol level at night. It will differ. Energy also. I don't think they have started measuring energy inflow and outflow. We can perceive them. So meditators can easily perceive inflow and outflow of energy. Our genetic system is predisposed now to the solar movement. It adjusts itself. For millions of years, it has come to this habit of orienting the entire physiological system functioning around the solar cycle and the lunar cycle as well. And who knows, many other planetary influences which is so subtle we are unable to measure. But at least these two influences we can measure easily. Surya Nadi they call. The Nadi means the energy channel and Surya means the sun. Energy channel that is provoked by the sun. During daytime they call it Surya Nadi. And the one, in its absence, what happens is the other Nadi, any other energy channel, and automatically they give the name Chandra Nadi, means the lunar energy channel. During daytime, right nostril and left nostril, based on the energy requirements, keep switching. But most of the time during day, it will be the right nostril that will be predominating, and at night time, the left one.
Study of the human nervous system reveals that in the day, the sympathetic system is active, which prepares the body for intense physical activity or a fight or flight response. It is also the time when the right nostril or Surya Nadi breathing is dominant. At night time, the parasympathetic system takes over, which relaxes the body and slows down physical activity. At this time, the left nostril or Chandranadi breathing is dominant.
So when you want to, let us see, immediately shift away from fight or flight response, anxiety response, if you can breathe through your left nostril, which is Chandranadi, this response can be to a large extent circumvented. Like close your right and breathe with the left 10 times or so. So the anxiety will somehow, to a large extent, will be reduced. Now what happens? How Babuji, through his intuitive ability, was able to compare this with the original creation with the morning. And through his observation, he found that just before the morning, all night, where you have been absorbing energy. Now, before sunrise, if you can meditate, energy is flowing in all the time. Before the sunrise. And when transmission is also joining the flow of your natural rhythm, it becomes a natural cycle. Automatically, one tends to go deeper in meditation. instantly, because your natural tendency to absorb before sunrise, and now aided by transmission, it is going with the flow. He gives an example of swimming against and swimming with the currents of the river. You see, it's difficult to flow against the currents of the river. So might as well take the advantage of time when the nature's energy is flowing inward. Your circadian rhythm allows you to absorb, and the inflow of transmission. All these things come together and support us during meditation if completed before. You got it now. Okay, before the sunrise.
However, we all have different responsibilities and constraints and a unique set of circumstances in life. It is not easy for all to adhere to completing their meditation before sunrise.
We all have our weaknesses. I can't get up before dawn. If we miss the first opportunity of meditating before dawn, any other time will be as good. It is better to meditate regularly at 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. or 10 a.m., even if it is for 5 minutes. So Babaji used to say, yes, go ahead, meditate at that time. Whenever you get chance, whenever you get an opportunity of meditation, use that time. And if you still cannot, constant remembrance is there. Connect yourself with your open eyes and continue with your work. He is not saying to fight with the family and get rid of in-laws and get rid of husbands and guests, get out of this, I have to meditate. Then you're creating trouble. Family comes first. If you're not going to have peace in the family, how are you ever going to meditate? So wait. Patience has its own rewards. You couldn't do meditation because of whatever it is, it's all right. Meditation is for peace. You can't fight for peace and say, oh, I have to meditate, I want to be at peace. What will happen to that? It's a wrong way of expressing the things.
Babuji also recommends setting aside a particular place for our meditation if possible. If not an entire room, then a particular chair or seat can also be designated for the purpose.
I grew up in a village. And I had seen, we used to have buffaloes and cows. And they had their own stump, specific to each animal. They were tied there. The moment you release them, they all go together outside the village for grazing. In the evening when they return, each cow or buffalo will go to their own respective stump. They don't mess around. You noticed it? They don't go to other stump and stand there. They'll go to their own stump and just stand to be tied up. They have so much of wisdom. This is the spot. This is my spot. We need to designate our stumps in our house. This is my stump. I will meditate here. This is my comfortable place. And the place where we meditate regularly, it creates atmosphere. It creates vibrations. It charges the place.
During meditation, we strive for a state of complete balance or samadhi. To reach this state, we are constantly striving to go deeper into ourselves. We can get our bodies to assist in this endeavor by maintaining a suitable posture.
He gives an example that when the universe was created, there was a bang and everything gushed forth from that outward, right? Now, when the time will come, when things has to return back to the source, we call in Christianity as doomsday, right? Or in Sanskrit, they call it Mahapralaya, where everything dissolves. So creation is outward expansion. And when it has to return back to the source, it is contraction. Contraction produces a lot of peace and calmness. When things are happening, moving towards home, you feel at peace. When we contract all our limbs like this, it also creates, in his words, he calls it individual pralaya at a physical level. Then it collapses at a mental level, then at a spirit level, and then you are in samadhi. So, with this contracted position, we are able to meditate better.
The exact same posture, however, cannot be recommended for everyone and will vary from person to person. Each individual's body has over the years adopted certain positions that it is comfortable in. A posture that does not come naturally to us can lead to stress in our system and draw our mind away from meditation.
It should be comfortable. Again, sage Patanjali calls it very briefly and very nicely, Sukham Sthiram Asanam. Adopt the position in such a way that it comforts you, and in that comfort position, you are able to remain steady for as long as you have to meditate. So, comfortable, steady.
The maxim also talks about giving special attention to purity of mind and body. This is a reference to the attitude we need to maintain towards our meditation practice. Daji gave the example of how attentive one is when a special guest is expected at home. We go out of our way to ensure that everything is in place.
But when we meditate in inviting the most significant part of our life, God, can we be careless? We can't be. When we receive this transmission, which is divine gift, we can't be careless about it. Everything should be spick and span. Mind, heart, soul, everything, see. Everything should be dropped. Forget even who you are.
The idea of following a discipline in our practice has far-reaching effects and is an invaluable asset on our spiritual journey.
Someone was talking to me yesterday about the power of subconscious. It's not in our hands. But surely our activities, when they become automatic, when we bring about automatism in our practice, it becomes subconscious, it becomes a part of our being, part of our physiology, part of our biology, everything it becomes. Like, in the beginning when you are struggling to drive a car, right? You don't know where the pedal accelerator is, where the clutch is, and the windows, and your rear window, mirror. And you're so focused on so many things, and you are anxious at that time, anxiety at a very high level. And when the inspector is that, driver inspection test. My Lord Jesus Christ, please help me. I have my exam today, And you are so tensed up. But later on comes time in life where you drive effortlessly. You don't have to make conscious effort in where my keys are and where the keys will go and where my foot will go on the accelerator. It just happens. It becomes part of you. So over a period of time, when we practice fixed place, fixed time, everything fixed, it becomes our unconscious effort. Patanjali, in his Yoga Sutra, would call it Prayatna Sitilikaran. That is the second sutra of Patanjali. Meaning, relax all your efforts. Don't try hard too much. When we have to meditate and try, I have to meditate, I have to go in samadhi. And you try hard. Will you go in samadhi? It's not possible. You're so anxious, your efforts are so powerful. Try to sleep with a lot of efforts. I have to sleep right away. I have to get up in the morning at 3 to catch a flight. And you would expect that moment you hit the bed, you're gone. These expectations and trying too hard spoils everything. See? So just chill, as they say, relax. And let things happen, let things unfold. But efforts should be there, but there should be totally relaxed efforts. And this happens only by practice. In the beginning, it will be a struggle. It will be full of efforts in the beginning, but it becomes part of us then, you see.
You are invited to meditate on the maxim to reach a personal understanding of it. Internalize the words so that hidden facets and nuances of meaning may unfold within. Practice it so that its efficacy can be genuinely witnessed.